What is good, everybody? Welcome back to Realfanssports. My name is Zach. I'm here in the building with Nonpfixion. What's good with you, Non?
Man, what's good, brother? I'm good, man. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing great, man. It's episode 9 of This Week in Sports. We have an exciting one. A lot of great topics. The trade deadline just happened in the NFL. We've gotten to see a couple weeks of the NBA, as well as some accolades for some players. So definitely can't wait to get into all that. But that's not really why we're here today, right?
No, not really.
No. We're here to go ahead and welcome y'all to a good friend of ours, a great fellow YouTuber in DOLPH17, aka the host of the Keeping It Real Who Dat Sports podcast, as well as the host of the As the NFL Turns Sports podcast.
Yes,
so without further ado, let's go ahead and bring the man of the hour in, Mr. DOLPH17. What is good with you, Dolph? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. What's going on, fellas? Feeling good, baby. Thank y'all for having me, man.
Thank you for joining us.
Man, I'm excited, man. It's an honor to be on here with y'all, man. I respect y'all, love y'all. Got nothing but love for y'all, man.
Yeah, man, nothing but love, brother.
You already know.
Absolutely, man. I'll tell you, this is something that
busy.
So this is definitely someone that we've been wanting to bring on for a while. He's been a big part of our development as a channel. Has helped us out a bunch. Me and Dolph have been kind of joining in back and forth with each other on whether it was Hoodie's channel, whether it was your channel or whatnot. Always cutting it up the last year or so now. So I'm happy we finally able to get you in here for a true podcast and ask you some questions. So go ahead and just start things off. Let everybody know about you and your channels and what you do.
Right, man. Appreciate it, man. Like I said, I'm DOLPH17, the founder and owner of the Come On In Sports Network. Also, I'm the host of the Keeping It Real Who Dat Sports podcast, and I'm one of the hosts of As the NFL Turns kickoff pregame show, along with the two gentlemen who you see here, Zach and Nonpfixion, and also Mr. Carlos Clayton of Uneducated Sports, and I can't forget PJ, and also my co-host on Keeping It Real Who Dat Sports podcast, the legendary Coach Rock.
Rock.
Yes, sir. Listen, yeah.
You got the peppermint stick. The peppermint stick this weekend had me
dying,
dying, bro. I was dying.
Yeah. He get a good one off every now and then, man. Every now and then, man.
So Dolph, man, let's we'll go ahead and just start it off with a couple questions, man. First thing I wanted to ask is, when you first began your channel, I remember you telling us a story. It was on Hoodie's channel. It was like late in one of his streams when we were going live till 2 a.m. And you were just you were just talking about how you were joining Hoodie, every week, doing your thing, hopping in with other podcasters as well. And then your wife, I believe, if I remember correctly, was the one who was like, why don't you just do it on your own? You love it. You're good at it. Why don't you start your own channel? How important has that been for you, since starting this up?
Oh man, it was great. Man, funny story is how it went, man. I've always loved sports, and I've always been that guy that my circle, my friends and family come to when they have questions about sports. So my wife, I was thinking about going to school because I was like, man, you know what? I'm going for it. This is it's something I love. I'm passionate about. I'm gonna do it. And my wife was like, "Babe, why go to school? You could just start your podcast." And 2 weeks later, she bought my equipment to get me started. Started with my iPhone, of course. Nervous as hell. Got all kind of advice. I was told to loosen up. You're being too stiff. You're trying to be too professional. You got to be you. Just be you. So once I relaxed, man, it just became me, man. It was cool. Hoodie, Slim South 504, man. Again, shout out to Slim South 504 and his family, man. And his family, again, he lost his grandfather. Our prayers and blessings go to you, my brother.
For sure.
And man, I got advice from Hoodie, man, but one of the best advice I got when started was from shout out to the God for the Big Q, man. PRO Media Network, man. And Q was like, Dolph, man, listen, just be you. You know what I'm saying? Just just be you, bro.
Yeah.
Just keep it real. You know what I'm saying? And listen, people go fact check you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just let it be facts what you saying. So man, once I got that advice, bro, I just ran with it, man. I looked today and I didn't realize I had, I think maybe 400 something videos, if I ain't mistaken, maybe two. And I'm like, man, I don't even believe I've only been doing a year. I just made a year in like July. And
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I didn't even know that, man. So it's been a journey, man. I have the honor of, man, listen, have great professionals such as Ross Jackson, Kyle T. Mosley, Bob Rose, John Hendricks, who, man, so man, anybody I'm forgetting, I apologize, man. All y'all are special to me, man. Of course, first I was doing it by myself, and like, believe like 3 weeks into doing it, um, I got a call from my cousins, and she was like, "Hey, Coach Rock is trying to get at you," and he was like, "Man, I'm interested in doing the show with you, dog." I was like, "Hell yeah, big brother, let's do it." You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
as they say, the rest is history, man. We still grinding. We still trying to get that 1,000 subscribers, but we gonna get there.
Yo,
Um,
Bill, man.
just being us, man.
I'll tell you
Oh
this:
yeah.
the one thing that a lot of YouTubers don't, especially like in the podcast world, is figuring out your lane, figuring out who you are, and expressing that to your best ability. Because once people latch on, they latch on. Like every time I pull up the DOLPH stream, if y'all haven't checked it out yet, y'all need to make sure y'all do. There'll be links in the description. That way, y'all can go check out both As the NFL Turns and the Keeping It Real Who Dat Sports podcast. Man, people are in there just sitting, having a good time. There's like a true community over there, and it's all based around what you put out. Like it's a real
Right,
family.
right. And that's what I wanted to make it, man. And like Sundays, man, the kickback, So like we were just, in there talking like after the game, and I forgot who we lost to. I think I want to say it was after we lost to Tampa last year, and me and my wife, we were talking, and she was like, "Babe, you need to call that something." She said, "Y'all just be sitting back, like y'all in the backyard, the barbecue, kick
Mm-hmm.
back." You know what I'm saying? And she like, "Man, kickback." I'm like, "You know what? That's it. Let's do it. Let's call it the kickback." So, hey, so the kickback was born, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's where
Nah,
we at, man.
nah, I
Now,
love
for the
that. I love
kickback, for
that.
those of y'all who do not know what the kickback is, let me tell you what it is. First of all, you don't have to be a Saints fan to come on
Tell
in
them.
to the kickback. Anybody who's a fan, no matter who your team is, ask Mozzie. He's a Raven fan, my boy. What up, Mozzie? Here's what you got to do. Just hit that link, come on in, get it off your chest. Whether your team's won or lost that day, and if your team's lost, you can come on into the kickback. It's no holds barred. You won't get censored. Put the kids away. We go in there crying, we go in there mad, arguing, fussing, but we leave out smiling, having fun. And like Zach said,
Laughing
man,
at each
it's a
other.
real family.
Yeah.
Yes, laughing at each other, cracking on each other, playing music. You're liable to have some people on screen in the kitchen cooking. We liable to be doing anything, man, on the kickback, man. But listen, it's fan friendly. It's for everyone.
Yeah.
Not just New Orleans Saints fans. It's for everyone. Everyone is welcome, man. So if you
That's
never checked it out, check it out.
That's the one thing I love
Go ahead,
about
Zach.
your channel as well. It's like, a lot of people look at it as, who dat, and it's like, oh, it's a Saints, but no, that ain't it, man. It's a sports community. Yeah, we're gonna talk a lot about Saints football. That's your team and that's community based around, but anybody can come talk. And Dolph ain't just very well aware of all things that's going on in the Saints world. He's well aware of every team and knows what's going on. He, like you said, you love sports, man. It's a passion of yours, and that's why you wanted to pursue something like this. And it truly is that. When I pop into those kickbacks, you don't even have to join in if you don't want to. Just listen. You're gonna go ahead and crack up laughing, man. It's a really good time.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
The
yes.
one thing I wanted to say, because you mentioned it, Dolph has a really special way on how he intros every single stream, and it's probably my favorite of all YouTube. So, I like, first off, I just need you to do it first.
All right. You talking about the Who That Nation?
Yeah, yeah.
That was done. Who that nation? How you doing? Come on in. Take a seat. Sit back. Relax. Put your feet up. Grab a drink. And let's talk Saint football. Y'all know what time it is. Time to keep it real. Let's go.
My guy.
Yeah.
The other thing I
You
want to talk
already
about
know.
was just, you refer to everybody as family. That's also like a thing that I picked up every time I joined the street. Everybody's family. And so I know
Mhm.
family to you has to be something important. How important is family to you, Dolph?
Man, family is real important, man. I got 5 kids, man. So I got 3 girls and 2 boys. And family's always been big to me, man. I was raised by my grandmother. Um, Big influence in my life. My aunties, man. I had an uncle. My father wasn't in my life like he wanted to be because of incarcerations.
Mhm.
My pop was locked up, man, and I just told this story before, man. Over 30 years, man, of my life, Um,
Mhm.
when he got out, I believe he got out in 2016 or 2017, man, and we spent those 3 years together, man, before he passed away, man, in 19, I believe, and man, it was just cool having him, you know what I'm saying, for that little time. And
Yeah.
you would think, man, as a man, when I'm grown, I'm a man, I got my own kids, I got my own family, man. But man, when I would see my pops, man, and go home and be able to hang out with my pops, it was one of the best feelings that in the world that I had, man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And man, my pop was so cool, bro. You know what I'm saying? He was that was a cool dude, bro. He had this little smirk he'll give you, man. And but he was just a solid dude, man. And like I said, man, I miss that dude, man. But yeah, bro.
Yeah,
So
I
there
feel
you
that,
go.
man.
Definitely
So
felt that.
just to get we'll get a little bit more on topic with sports for a bit before we get into these debate topics. You are
Okay.
a Saints fan, so I do want to ask
Yes.
you, uh, when did your Saints fandom begin? And what has made you
Birth,
stay a fan throughout all this time, through all
birth,
the ups and downs? Birth?
since birth. Since I was able to look at the TV and understand and see that black and gold and that fleur de lis. Now we suck. Now we was horrible. Not bad. Not a bad team. I'm gonna say it again. We were horrible. I'm talking about preseason wins were celebrated if we can get that. That's how bad we were.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking 1 in 15 seasons. So everybody that cried over them 379. I know you can't help when you was born, but for all you who was in the Drew Brees era and you had 3 consecutive 79 seasons, believe me, we would have killed for that. That means we're competitive. So we were, man. I saw 3 in 13 seasons, 1 in 15. The 1 in 15 season, I still remember the game we won. It was in Shea Stadium against the New York Jets. And I believe the game-winning touchdown was scored by number 30, Wayne Wilson, who's a player that's not talked about a lot by a lot of Saints players when we talk about Saints running backs. Number 30, Wayne Wilson, man. Unless or the Saints would have went 0-16 that season, man. So I had family member, uncle, man, who has a season ticket holder since they came out, man. And I just love the Saints, man. I was a Saints and Cowboys. I'm gonna say it again because
Oh
I'll be saying on
no,
the show.
dog!
No, man,
No, you
listen.
killing me,
I
dog.
listen.
You killing me, brother.
I was a Saint. Listen, I'm telling you, I was a Saint. Now, when they play head to head, I'm all Saint. But I was
All
a
right.
Saints, and I cried on the catch, bro. I'm put it like that. So it was deep, bro. I love Tony Dorsett, Drew Pierce, and Tony Hill. You know what I'm saying? Too Tall Jones, Randy White. I'm aging myself now, but
Yeah. I was like you said too tall. I thought in the
yeah,
back.
I
yeah,
know.
Too Tall Jones, man. You know
Well,
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying? Head
it's
too tall.
it's funny now. We're coming into some rough seasons with the Saints where we're not looking great. We're still way better than what that team was, or at least some of those teams were back in the day. But we're definitely in our struggle period. Possible rebuild could be coming and all that, which we'll get into more detail later on whether or not what we think should happen. But like, is there times when you're like going through social medias and whatnot, seeing people complain about the Saints, and it's like you just have no idea. Y'all were blessed with Drew
Yeah,
Brees.
man. Listen, there are
That's
a lot of times,
spoiled
man.
Drew Brees.
Yes, we all were, man. But
Yeah.
it's so now that You gotta let it go, man. I don't even want. I try not to even mention his name on the show because
Yeah.
he's gone. It's
Yeah.
over with. You know what I'm saying? It's
What's
time to
past the
move on.
past.
Them
Gotta
days,
move on.
and we only got one Super Bowl out of it. And we
Right.
should have had 2 or 3. You
Mhm.
know, with that talent, man. So nah, man. I mean, but listen, like I said, you can't help when you was born. I'm glad they didn't have to go through that. Cause listen, there was a time where Saints game weren't sold out. The only time we were able to watch the Saints game is we go to the game live, or they play a road game and you watch it on TV. So at home, what would happen around the city, and you probably ask your father this, what would happen
Mhm.
around the city, Jim Henderson, varsity Saints, every Sunday, man, radios around the city, wherever you go, you always hear the games played on the radios. People had a radio on their porch.
Mhm.
You go to the corner store, they're playing it. No matter where you go, the game would be on the radio, man. So that's how we used to have to listen to, gather around the radio. My cousin, man, he had this. It was annoying for the residents. He had this big speaker, and he'll take it and he'll put it on top of his Camaro, and he'll just blast the game. So you'll have parents come out there in lawn chairs, sitting down and stuff, man. I mean, it was a family atmosphere, man.
Yeah.
But we came a long way, man.
Different time. Different time.
It took to 1987, the drill sergeant himself, Mr. Jim Mora, coming for us to become winners, man. So,
Goodness.
yeah. The best season we had before that was 8-8. I think that was 79 with Archie.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah. We come a long way, bro.
Definitely a long way.
We
I mean,
was
it'll turn around. It'll turn around once again. Everything comes in its
But
own type of
let me
cycle.
say this: today is our birthday. Today is the birthday of the New Orleans Saints.
Is it
They were
really?
born, yes, November 1st, 1966. The New Orleans Saints were
Wow,
born.
I didn't even know that.
John Gilliam took the opening kickoff back to the house for the Rams, and we were cursed ever since. Because he took that opening kickoff back.
He had to send the wrong message, man.
He man, went straight downhill for that for years, man. We were the team that you always saw on the bloopers. I mean, for years.
Actually, you know what? You're right. You were right.
Yeah. You always saw like running, catching the ball.
Right,
Danny Abramowitz running his head into the TV camera.
I'll tell you,
the only thing we were perfect for was the 60-yard kick by John Dempsey. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
I'll tell you what, I didn't start in that bad of an era, but I did start during the Aaron Brooks, couple street years that he had. And I remember watching, and my dad, similar to how you were, we were a Cowboys and a Saints fan. My dad was also a 49ers fan. He was big into, oh goodness, now I'm forgetting the dang quarterback's name. Let's say,
Joe Montana?
Yeah, he was a big Joe Montana guy. And so he kind of split between the two. We always watch Niner games. We always watch Saints games and such.
Right.
And, man, we were watching Aaron Brooks, and all I can remember is him throwing that ball backwards for interceptions or fumbles, and I'm just like, what is going on? And then all things change once the name we shall not mention no more, so people will stop talking about him and comparing everybody to him, Drew Brees, and things started turning around. But let's see, let's go ahead. We got a little funny question for you. I'll let Non take that away and see what kind of answer you got.
Okay, so like you said, it's just a little more lighter question, nothing too serious.
But let's do it.
If you were forced to live on a desert island and you can only bring, one thing with you, what would that be and why?
If I was forced to live on a desert island and I could bring one thing.
Only one thing. What would it be and why?
A desert island? We're in the desert. It's a desert, just like
it's an island, but it's like really nothing there. It's like if you got
you might got a tree, a little grass.
You may got a few trees. Could be coconuts, might not be. I don't know, but you got to survive regardless. But
so survive, I'm gonna have to eat fish. I'm gonna have to fish. Okay. One thing I could survive. If I could take one thing with me, it would be gotta be something to protect myself with, because I don't know what was on the island. Now I might not be on the island alone.
Okay,
that's a possibility. I mean, so
So I'm gonna
honestly, you know,
say,
there's definitely something in the water around
yeah,
you.
I know it's something in the water, but I don't know what's in the jungle there, or what's in the trees or on the beach. So I'm gonna go with this is a crazy thing here I'm about to say. I'm gonna go with a machete.
Machete. Hey, I like
Not a,
that. I like that.
not a bad,
I'm
it's
gonna
not
go
a
with a
bad tool to
machete.
have. Not a
You
bad
know,
tool to have.
I could chop down some trees, some of
Mm-hmm.
the branches and stuff. You know, make me a little fire.
Yep.
And also, if I need to swing it on something, I can use it. So there you go.
There you go. There
There
you
you
go.
go.
There you go.
That's a good tool to have. A good tool to have. I
All
like it. I
right,
like
man. Well, with that finished up, let's go ahead and jump into some debates, man. Let's talk about the first thing that just wrapped up yesterday at 4 p.m. Central Time, or I'm sorry, 3 p.m. Central Time, which is the NFL trades that have taken place in the NFL. Nine, go ahead and take it away.
Well, from the list that we have, we got from Tennessee to Philadelphia, Kevin Byard, Terrell Edmonds, Philadelphia to Tennessee. McCole Hardman ends up back in Kansas City after having a little short stint with New York. Chase Young, which is probably one of the bigger ones, going to the Commanders, from the Commanders to the 49ers for a third-round pick. Joshua Dobbs heading over from the Cardinals to Vikings, which I think is probably a very interesting move, but a smart move by the Vikings. As far as the Cardinals, not sure what they're really thinking. I know Murray might possibly be back, but they might be better off with Dobbs. Leonard Williams, D lineman, goes from the Giants to the Seahawks. Montez Sweat from the Commanders to the Bears. Rasul Douglas from the Packers to the Bills. And after we, kind of talk about that short list, we know there's some more that took place a few months back prior that kind of are considered part of this list. But who are you most excited to see in a new uniform? What
Chase Young,
team or
bro.
player?
The
Yeah,
possibility, Chase Young opposite Bosa with the 49ers
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
and
former
what that
teammates as well,
possibly
man.
can be.
Yeah, Nick
Right.
Bosa
And
and Chase
you
Young,
give
former
him
teammates
up
at
for a
what, Ohio
third,
State?
man.
For a
Right.
third. I don't even know how they pulled that off. Like, how did the
Bro.
Commanders, like, you a third? Like, you're not. You got to be more desperate than that, right?
Right. And my thing is, what is Washington doing? Have they punted on the season, or they about to get rid of the staff? You traded Sweat and
Right.
Chase Young? I don't
It's
understand
really
that.
your only hopefuls. I mean, the thing is, according to what some people have came in and told us, we didn't see the article, so we're taking the word of chat, which we don't know if we can always trust them. But they told us at the beginning of this weekend that the Commanders, if they lost to Philadelphia, that they were looking to clean house. And, of course they did lose, but it was a close game, a lot closer than a lot of people expected. The Commanders have
Right.
played Philly good this year so far. But you give away two major assets, and it's like, but you did move everything, and you really didn't get anything in return. I mean, you got a third, a third round pick, and then you didn't get, but what? I think they got a fourth for Montez Sweat. So it's not like you went
Yeah,
and
they
got
like a
a
14.
That's
whole
what?
bunch
Yeah.
for these players you got rid of. Like, could they have asked for more if they were gonna go ahead and dump these two? Should they have dumped more? Like, what would you like to see
Well, yeah,
them do?
even like I know before you say something, Dolph, I originally did see like a message, not a message, but a post on Instagram, and in Instagram it was basically a rumor mill thing that this is what was the rumblings coming from Washington that if they did lose, they were basically open for open market. Basically, anybody can come get anybody want to for a good possible trade. But Chase Young for a third to me is not a good trade. It only benefits the Niners. Doesn't benefit the Commanders at all. Even if you think about rebuilding, because maybe you think Sam is not the future, and you think it's gonna push you back 2-3 years, so you're getting rid of players that you think is that you don't want to waste their time. Still ask for something better than third. That doesn't make sense to me.
I thought they probably. I hear what you're saying. I'm like, why not ask for a three? I know they weren't going to definitely not getting a 1 or 2
No.
because of
Yeah.
his injury history, but the upside to him. So I'm like, why not a 3 and a 5 or
Right.
3 and a 6? Something like. But just a third, man. To me, the Niners stole him, and if he gets right and stays right, him and Bosa, man. Listen, but the Niners' biggest thing right now, man, is their secondary.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing, and I think they brought him in to help with the pass rush
Yes.
opposite Bosa
Yeah.
because it's not getting the job done right now. And you got the man. Listen, They lost 3 straight, but you got to applaud them, man, being proactive, man. You know, not standing pat. They looking for every competitive advantage they can find.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I
until
like that. That's the truth. I like that, and also I like the what is it is I'm looking at it now, man. Leonard Williams gone from the Giants to the Seahawks, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I like that one a lot.
I love that as well. I mean, Seahawks have already started to beef up their defense a little bit, signing some former players and such. Had a rough opening
Right.
week, but now sitting at 5-2, I believe, looking really good. And with the Niners struggling, I mean, they think that they can go ahead and win this division. Like at first, it was fighting for second. Now they're like, nah, let's go and make a big
Right.
splash and let's go ahead and win this damn thing. And for the Giants, I mean, it's a good move for them too. I mean, they're 2-5. They don't have a whole lot going for them. They got a good bit of things in return. I believe they got 2 draft picks for them. Much better than what the Commanders did. They actually went and grabbed 2, so it benefited both sides. It's going to be interesting to see what the Seahawks can do. Because I mean, Pete Carroll, we've had some people that have doubted Pete Carroll's coaching ability, but I feel like he's always had that team winning. He's made his mistakes in the Super Bowl, as we all know, but other than that, he's had a competent team for most of his career there.
Should have 2.
Should have to.
Should have 2. Let me ask y'all something about the Giants, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you keep Tyrod Taylor in as your quarterback, or would you go to back to Daniel Jones? I keep Tyrod Taylor. Me.
Well, Tyrod's hurt again, so that's the other issue. I mean,
yes,
yeah, he's hurt
that's
again,
the problem.
and that's the problem, right?
That's always his problem.
Yeah, if Tyrod could get healthy, he would have been a starter in this league, man. He's always good.
Thank you. There you go. Always good. Then he gets hurt. Somebody lacerated his liver on the training staff or something.
Random stuff, like stuff that should never happen. That's the craziest part, right?
Yeah, the stuff that should never happen. That's kind of wild.
The other thing we wanted to ask you, Dolph, is what team did you expect to work out a trade, or what player did you expect to get traded that didn't happen? Who do you think fumbled the bag before the deadline? Anybody in particular?
Oh, that's a good question. In particular, who I thought was gonna get traded? There was a lot of rumbling about what's the kid's name, man? Well, he did get traded. The kid from Cleveland, man. That was a sneaky good. He did get traded.
Oh, People Jones.
The receiver,
Donovan Jones. That's right. I forgot about that one. I didn't even add that on here. Yeah,
that was
a good trade to the Lions.
Then he went to the Lions. He went to the Lions to go with Reynolds and St. Brown and Jameson. I'm like Williamson. Like, man, getting scarier, man. They're getting scarier.
I mean, I do think it's a good trade, but at the same time, it's like I don't even know why the Browns weren't utilizing them. Like, what's the reason?
They just never knew how to. That's the thing. Deshaun Watson, the experiment hasn't been working, man. I don't care what anybody says. Like, I just feel like it hasn't. They've looked better more when he's not there than when he is there. Like, because People Jones, he wasn't like a exceptional receiver, like in far as usage went beforehand, but he was still getting, a handful of targets a game. And a lot of times it was big plays when he was able to get the ball. And then over the last several weeks, I don't think he's touched it, but maybe twice.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
It's almost like they were phasing them out for some reason.
That's why I was asking that question, because it's like, was it something that they know that's why they just were willing to get rid of him so easily?
Yeah, that made no sense to me, man.
I think it's more of what they didn't know.
And who else?
Could be.
I know there was one thing that was a rumor that was turned out to be false, but was something that I was surprised that there wasn't more talk with the New Orleans Saints and Jameis Winston. personally, I'm happy that he didn't get traded. I mean, of course, I would love Jameis to be able to start on a football team because I think he does deserve it. But as a Saints fan, I'm glad he's still here. One, because we need that backup, and two, a lot of people don't notice what Jameis has been doing on the sidelines. He is on that tablet 24/7 throughout the whole entire game and talking to Pete Carmichael, talking to
Yes.
DA, and giving ideas of saying, "Hey, I'm seeing this. This will work." You know, Jameis's biggest struggles has been making adjustments at the line, like in real time. But sitting on the sideline analyzing it just proves that he knows this he knows football, man, and he's doing all the work for Pete Carmichael right now. So I'm glad he didn't get traded. Are you surprised that he didn't, or were you? What was your thoughts on that?
Um, yeah, I'm glad he didn't get traded. I know it had like it was a report on Twitter about him possibly getting traded and turning it down because he thought he can be a starter still, possibly start. That was fake news, man.
Yeah, it was fake.
That was not true.
Nick Underhill blew that up so
Yeah, and a
fast.
lot of people,
They were like, oh, they're trading him for a
yeah,
third is the rumor, and Nick Underhill's like, they don't even have a third round pick. They can't do that. Like,
third
it
round
was
pick.
so stupid,
Yeah,
man. People got to stop believing
yeah.
everything they see on
Somebody
the
trying to
internet,
get
bro.
clicks, man. Yeah,
Exactly.
and I saw that, and I went on Facebook today, and I saw that same post, and man, the people were eating it up, man. They had like
Mhm.
600-700 response to it. I'm like, man, that was fake news, man. That wasn't real. Y'all got to understand who you get your sources from, man. But yeah, man. Now I did hear that there was a possibility that the Vikings and the Saints were on the phone,
Mhm.
possibly talking, but I'm glad James. I'm glad he didn't go anywhere. I think next season is the year for Jameis to possibly find a new home.
Mhm.
Um,
I think so too.
because if you look around this league as these starters, man, like how
It's
many
a
are
lot
really better
hopeless,
than
man.
Jameis? I mean, there
There's
go
at
be at least
least there's at
15
least
openings.
that's what I was saying. There's at
Yeah,
least 15's being really generous, but I mean I think there's at least 7 to 10
yeah,
places where you could utilize a guy like Jameis. I mean, I know he's a little bit older and some teams are in the rebuild. He has to find a team that is like semi ready to win now, but they're still just lost that quarterback and they got to go and find him. You know, like that's where he's gonna find a home.
right.
Because you know you don't want him to go to a rebuild team and just be another layover quarterback. You hopefully can go to a spot where you can actually
Yes.
strive in the NFL. Um, and then, I mean, just to piggyback off that, since we are going to go ahead and talk about the Saints next, there was also rumors with them trying to get Renfro, but a lot of the things that they were saying was they did not want to get rid of any of their personnel. They were willing to get rid of draft picks and stuff, which typically is seen from teams that are ready to win now. Do you think they should have went out and tried to grab, you know, some type of help, whether it's at any position? It doesn't necessarily have to be wide receiver because I thought that was silly, but uh, do you think we should
Man,
have?
defensive end,
Yeah,
defensive end. Man, listen, Chase went for a third, bro. Like we
so
couldn't put together something. We couldn't give a Ford and what's his name, Peyton Turner. No, he
right,
hurt. You know, and I'm a Peyton Turner guy, bro. The kid just can't stay hurt, but he be back week 12 or 13. Um, cause right now, man, the only one getting home, man, is Carl Granderson. I
only one.
mean, Cam is second on the team in pressures with 1 sack, 1.5, 2 half sacks, which equal one, which is crazy. But um, I would like to see more of Brian Bresee in the game, man, and Malcolm Roach
Same.
on passing downs in the interior. I think those two they offer more in passing situations and bringing pressure up the middle into the quarterback's face. And since the Green Bay game, I know a lot of people haven't noticed, but slowly but surely, Isaiah Foskey is getting more and more reps. He had a
Hmm.
stretch in the Green Bay game where he had like 3 straight stops. Then this past week, I mean, the only time that his name was mentioned, he damn near had a forced fumble,
Right.
sack strip, and they're definitely going to need him to come along the second half of the season. But Cam Jordan for the last 3 years has done this. He had a slow start to the
And then
first half
finish
of the
strong.
season, but then the second half of the season he'll finish strong. He'll had that 2 sack, 3 sack game somewhere in there and just finish the season with 12 sacks. Be like, damn, how you
Out of
got
nowhere.
12 sacks? You know?
Yeah, that's been
Yeah,
my
out of
biggest thing
nowhere.
because
So
I've been in that room of people that was like, when you do something with Cam Jordan, it's like I never want to see him leave because I mean availability is the best asset of Cam. I mean, other
right.
than he is extremely talented. He's aging a little bit, getting a little bit slower, a little weaker as we all do as time turns, but. It's just that he knows the game of football so well, and we've been riding on that veteran leadership. I feel like it's going to come to bite us at some point, and we got to bring some new people in and such. But only time will tell with it. It's definitely not time to take Cam out of there. Let him finish up his tenure as a Saint,
No.
retire as Saint, and call it a day like that. But to go into the Saints topic, man, who that or who are we, man? So the Saints over the last 2 years have looked to be one of the best teams in a very weak division. But 2 years in a row, they've looked average to below average. They're struggling to score on offense. They have one of the worst red zone efficiencies. Currently, this year, they're 27th in the league at just 42% chance of scoring a touchdown when in the red zone. Over the last 3 years, they've been at 41%. So the big question comes is who's to blame? Are we putting the blame on Derek Carr? Are we putting it on the O-line? Pete Carmichael? Receivers not getting open? Is it a combo of all of it? What are the problems in New Orleans right now, Dolph?
All the above before last week.
Before
Well,
last
for
week?
1 week, they seem to solve their problem. Yeah. Man, I mean, even in the off season, man, we were shout out to coach, man. Like me and coach, we were talking, man, and everything starts no matter what brand of football, college, pro, whatever. Everything starts up front, man.
Mm-hmm.
If you can have the best skill position players you want, but if your offensive line is trash and they can't protect your quarterback, they can't open them holes, you go struggle. And the Saints struggle early on. Then I think, as they say on this mini bye, what they did, they dummy. I'm gonna say I don't want to say dummy down the playbook. They shrunk the playbook
Yeah.
and simplified. Instead of going in with maybe let's say 65 plays, now they go in with about 25, 28 plays. And now it seemed like Sunday, like that worked, man. It seemed like everybody was playing faster. It wasn't a lot of thinking out there. That's what I saw. I saw a team
Mm.
that knew what they wanted to do, players that knew what they was doing. I didn't see anybody have those mental mistakes that we had been seeing before this previous Sunday of running the route, running the wrong route, about effort,
Yep.
quarterback wasn't holding on to the ball too long. By the way, I called before this Sunday, I called Derek Carr out
Mm-hmm.
because I felt like Derek Carr was talking too much about Vegas. Every time he came to podium, it was we don't care about Vegas. You're in New Orleans now. They didn't want you. They moved on for you from you. They let you go. And I didn't think the man understood how much the New Orleans Saints mean to the city of New Orleans, to the Gulf Coast region, to all the Who that's around the world. Shout out to the Who that nation in the UK, by the way, too. And I just think that the kid not got to understand, man. He has a chance to have to rewrite his his book, man, on his career. Think
Mm-hmm.
about players such as prime example. And I'm gonna give you two Raiders. One is an old school quarterback, Jim Plunkett, rewrote his history, and Rich Gannon. I don't know if you guys remember Rich
Mm-hmm.
Gannon, former
Yeah,
Raiders
yeah.
quarterback. I mean, Rich Gannon was a journeyman. He was okay
Mm-hmm.
quarterback. Came to Raiders, became MVP,
Mm-hmm.
became one of the top quarterbacks in the league. So my thing to Derek Carr was, man, what do you want? How do you want your book to be written, man? Do you want to go down as um, one of the most underachieving quarterbacks in the history of the National Football League, or do you want to go down as one of the quarterbacks that turned his career around when he went to New Orleans, won a championship, became one of the top quarterbacks in the league? It's all on him, man. Listen, the main thing that people were saying was he never had a top 5, top 10 defense. Before this past week,
not top 20. I don't
You
think.
you had a top 5 defense, but you were not doing your job. He wasn't carrying his weight.
Yeah.
He wasn't the only one, but you the quarterback with much given, much is expected, and he was not carrying his weight until Sunday. We had not seen the best of Derek Carr that was in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
We had not seen that Derek Carr yet. We were getting this. I'm gonna say he was trash, bro. He was playing like trash, but it wasn't all him. He was speeding up in his head because of the problems the offensive line had. But look what happens when the offensive line starts playing better. He's getting more comfortable in the pocket. So can Derek Carr make every throw on the field? Yes. Do I think Derek Carr can lead the Saints to a division title, to the playoffs, to the divisional playoffs? Yes. But everything has to work. What we saw Sunday was a New Orleans Saints offense for the first time this season show up and save the day. Because I've been saying it. It started in that Green Bay game. When you up 17-0 and you lose that game, I don't care. If Derek Carr wasn't in the game, you had a 3-score lead in the fourth quarter. There's no way you supposed to lose that game to Green Bay. Have you seen the Packers since then?
Right.
Every time I watch it, it just frustrates me.
Yeah.
Because
same, man.
Yeah, that's a game that will come back to haunt you when you're in a tight, when you're in a battle for a playoff position. And right now, after 8 games, the Saints are sitting at 4-4, the midway part of the season. Did we think we'll be here? No. A lot of people thought maybe they'll be 5-3, 6-2 at best. But no, they're 4-4. Hey, it could be worse. They could be 3-5, 2-6. You know what I'm saying? But they're 4-4. They're in a 2-way tie for first. Everything is right in front of them. Now, it's the NFL. Any given Sunday, anything can happen. But look at the opponents coming up. Man, shouts out to Kirk Cousins, man. I know a lot of people they give Kirk Cousins flack, man. I think Kirk Cousins is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, man. Kirk Cousins was on pace for damn near 6,000 yards this season.
Yeah.
And for him to go out like that, that sucks, man. The man was balling. Without Jefferson, he was still throwing that thing.
Yeah.
And slinging that thing, man.
So I want to go back just a little bit here because, you mentioned Derek Carr, and I know Non can kind of talk about this as well a little bit. Because I saw the same thing too. And the one thing with, especially in today's world, it's like, what have you done recently type of thing. So Derek Carr, with the Raiders was like kind of a weird situation. Half of the fan base loved him, half of them hated him. And it's a lot of due to the recent years where, or his last year, especially, where he showed a lot of struggles, but a lot of it was due to, coaching, which we'll talk about next. What is your thoughts on this, Non, as far as like just Derek Carr's like time has taken him to feel comfortable? You and me talked off stream about Derek Carr and how I even felt the same thing as you said, Dolph, with him like just bringing up Las Vegas too much, the Raiders too much. Like I know that's his home, it's a team that drafted him. He put his heart and soul into it. That's how the type of man Derek Carr is, which is something you do respect. But but I said at a certain point, it's like I need you just to move on, and I need you to give that same dedication and love to New Orleans. Like you need that, especially in a small market team. So like, what's your thoughts on that, Non?
I understand what y'all saying, but I think y'all looking at it from the wrong perspective.
Okay.
When he's asked a question, he only has one place to reference. So he only has one place to reference. So if a question has to deal with a reference of some sort or an experience situation, he only has one place to reference. So he's going to talk about the Raiders. Like today, in the morning interview with him today, what was all his questions about?
It was all
I don't know if y'all seen it.
And I haven't seen it yet, but I figured it was about the firing.
All they asked him about was the players, coaches being fired. That's all he talked about.
Well, yeah, that was expected today, but
I know, but
before the day, man, I don't want to hear nothing about no Vegas, man. Vegas,
but
let me put it like this. I don't mean to cut you off, but go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm just saying, like, for me, like I work certain jobs. If Zach asks me something, in my experience with whatever he's asking with a specific job, that's what I'm gonna talk about. It's not my fault that he don't want to hear about that. That's where that experience comes from. That's just what it is. Now, I mean, I understand y'all upset about it, but he was there for 9 years. It's like what do you expect? Like, what do you expect to happen?
I expect you to come to New Orleans and shut up about Vegas. It been months, bro. We in November now, October, man. I nobody want. We don't care, bro. People in Vegas,
I think y'all
we're tired of them.
I mean,
people in Vegas are tired. Yeah. The Raider Nation was tired of them this summer. Like, man, go on, you gone, bro.
But the Raider Nation, like the people who actually pay attention to football, you have people who are fanboys who just think, oh,
gotcha.
He looked bad because he is their car. You have people that didn't like their car from the beginning. So for 9 years, there's people that didn't like their car, period. That wasn't their choice because of David Carr. So people got to remember that he had a bad rep from the beginning because his brother had a bad rep from the beginning.
Well, that wasn't his brother's fault. That was the organization fault.
But nobody says
David Carr was super talented, man. He was super talented.
But nobody says that. Everybody puts the blame on David Carr.
Right.
Everybody does. No one says he came to a team that was brand new and all the old line was all offshoots from everybody else's team. Man. And he got sacked 22 times in his first season. No one says that.
Nobody.
Only time they talk about that is when the record gets broken for sacks in the season.
Yep.
But then after that, it was David Carr's fault because the whole foundation of the team was on his shoulders to win.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So he came in with a shadow already over. And people don't understand how smart Derek Carr really is. Derek Carr is talented as hell. Like even when Hoodie used to come here and he would talk trash, like, I understand you like your quarterback, but I'm telling you, he's not better than Derek Carr. I'm sorry, he's not.
Yeah, because that was a big debate last year when we were talking about it. Yeah, look, this is my thing with when it comes to Derek Carr, man, because I have a lot of respect for him because I've seen what he can do when he plays great. I mean, obviously there's obviously some weaknesses. Everybody has them, and the biggest the biggest argument that I have with people is that it's ready to like ship him off and trade him away and stuff like that. It's like, this is the way you got to look at it. The 32 NFL quarterbacks right now are roughly 32, not just best in the NFL, the 32 best quarterbacks in the world. Then you look at your top 15. These are the best in the world. You look at your top 5. These are the best in the world. You know how rare it is to go and say, oh, we want to go pick this dude up from college. He's the next best. There's no way of truly judging or knowing how that's going to turn out because a lot of it has to do with more than just the quarterback skill. It's how they relate to the NFL, how the team builds around them to make them look good and make them appear well. Like it's a big, there's a big circle around it of what has to happen to make this work. Derek Carr is a competent quarterback. He's a top 15 quarterback. Last year, I was arguing him into the top 10. I can't do that right now because he hasn't performed fully. But if he can close out the rest of this year, people will start realizing it. He has the ability. He has the deep ball in him. He obviously has a check down. We know he likes to throw that a lot. But there's certain things that he just has to work. And it's now that we're 8 weeks going on to 9 weeks into the season, we got to start seeing these connections happening frequently. Like, I don't want to see no more miscommunication between quarterback and receiver happening multiple times a game, like once a game, once every other game. Like, that's understandable. Sometimes there's a misread or a miscommunication on expectations. That happens, but not multiple times. Last week, and to segue into the next topic with the Saints is, over the last couple weeks ahead, the Saints have looked a lot more in sync offensively. Defense has kind of slowed down a little bit. We've definitely allowed too much points going on, so I expect them to get that together. So do you think the Saints still have a chance to gain confidence and go on a run, finishing off the rest of this year and then making it to the playoffs? I mean, our next 2 games are against lesser opponents. Once again, we got we play who we play this week? Chicago, and then we play Vikings. Then we have a bye, and then we're mainly divisional games after that. I think we play the Giants and then a couple
Lions.
And the Lions, and then it's divisionals. So do you think we can make a run and win the division, get in the playoffs? Can we do anything in the playoffs if we get there? Like, what do you think?
These next 2 weeks are very important and will be a telling tale of how this season is going to go. Mm-hmm. If the Saints, after performing how they perform offensively this past week, come into this game at home against the Chicago Bears, and the Chicago Bears beat the New Orleans Saints this Sunday, man, it's over with. Punt the ball. Is get rid of everything. It's time to reload as far as bringing the new coach in here. Um, if the Saints can win these next two games and go into the break at 6-4, just think about it. If let's say
Mhm.
that hypothetically they are able to do, but we playing the Vikings. We always struggle with the Vikings.
We do.
Vikings got our number. They do. So that's a hurdle we're gonna get. Can't overlook the Bears by no means. So let's say we go into the break, we're 6-4. After 10 games and how the season's gone, 6-4, you'll have 7 games left. And like you say, we got Atlanta twice, we got Tampa, we got Carolina. You not listen. I know everybody thinks right now that there's no way in hell the Saints can beat the Lions. I'm telling you right now, the Saints can beat the Lions.
I'll say you can because we should have beat them.
Right,
We left 2
right,
touchdowns on the field. We left
Right.
2 touchdowns. We would have beat
right.
them.
But the
So
problem with the Saints now is there's no more dome field advantage. Teams do not feel coming into the Superdome no more
It's sad.
because of the project, because of the product that has been put on the field the last couple of years, and not just these last 2 years. I'm
Mhm.
talking about when the predecessor was here, the
Yeah.
man that won the only Super Bowl. It started with him. The dome field advantage has gone away. So the Saints got to get back to being right now. They can't lose no more games at home.
We
If
haven't had
they
energy since before
no
the pandemic. We haven't had energy in that
none,
stadium
no
since the
no
pandemic, man.
energy, and
It's
and listen, the fans want to. Who that nation? They ready. But man, when you go out there and you play anemic football like they were playing earlier in the year, man, it's hard for you to to constantly clap, cheer. When you keep getting frustrated looking at an offense that
no
seems
should be
inept.
better. Yeah,
Yeah,
and we
you
know
know it
they
should
should be
better.
better.
Right.
Mhm.
When you're looking at like you said, Derek Carr, the top 15 quarterback. But damn it, he ain't been playing like one. He had his best game this Sunday. He wasn't playing like a top 15 quarterback. You got all these weapons. You got Shaheed, you got Olave. Olave, something's going on with him. Hope the kid will be all right, but he gonna be all right. You got Michael Thomas. Now is Michael Thomas
I
back?
think Olave's head got too big too
Yeah.
quick.
Is Michael Thomas back to being the all-pro Michael Thomas? No, but he's still one
He's,
of the best receivers in
he's
football to
still
me.
got some of the best hands in the NFL. Like you throw it
No,
to him, he
yeah,
don't normally miss. You
no,
know, he don't
yeah,
like
no,
create the
no, no,
separation like he used to, but
right.
he still
On that
got hands.
slant, he dropped in coach
Yeah, that
game a
was
couple
beautiful.
years ago. He would have caught that, even though it's behind him. He'd have caught it because we're used to seeing him make those catches. So when he misses, it's like, damn, Mike. You know
We
what
need
I'm
a
saying?
spark. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah,
We need a
we
spark,
need a
and it
spark,
needs to
and we
start. It
got the
needs to
spark.
start with these 2 weeks. As I said, we got the spark last
Right,
week. We need to not just win these next 2 games. We need to go out
right,
and win by a couple touchdowns. We need touchdown on opening drive. We need opening drive stop on defense, a 3-and-out. We need something to
Y'all
get
need
everybody
to
excited. That way, once you come back from week 11, that dome field is back because now people, hopefully, we might have a game lead over Atlanta, maybe 2. I'm not sure what their schedule looks like. I know their schedule's weak, just like ours. So I mean, it's there's no telling. But that's what we need to get things back. So going into the very next question, we'll keep this one super quick, and then we're going to go into our next topic. Right now, at the half point, do you think the Saints should be looking at firing any of their coaches once the season ends? Is there anybody that you have on the chopping block? For sure.
Same ones who've been on it since the beginning of the season.
Yep.
The entire staff.
Yeah.
No, they're now. I like Cody Burns. I think he's doing a phenomenal job with the wide receiver room. I like him. I like our assistant offensive coordinator somewhat because I don't- my thing is why would you let him call plays in the preseason as you're getting as if you're grooming him
Yep.
and you see the struggles of the offense
And you don't get rid of
this season.
Carmichael and then let him take
And
over.
you're right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you
I
don't
agree.
but you don't even have to get rid of Carmichael.
Yeah.
You can look, you still the offensive coordinator, but on game day, Ronald Curry should be the one calling
Call
the
the
plays.
plays. Mm-hmm.
Why not? We didn't have anything to lose
That's a
until
good
this
point
week.
too.
Now, Now, the subtle changes that I did see, I think the Saints offense found this rhythm in the full quarter of that Jacksonville game. They were not in a total hurry up offense, but their tempo picked up. And
They look good.
they had three consecutive scoring drives. And somebody tried to get on me, think, well, you talking about Derek Copeland? I say, no, what I'm saying is, if you listen to what I was saying, the Saints, for the first time this season, the Saints had three consecutive drives that should have ended in the touchdown. Shout out to Foster Monroe, man. Heart goes out to him. Man, you got to catch that ball, man.
Yeah, do gotta catch that.
You got to catch that ball, man. And then what happened was it carried over to this week. Okay, you get the bye, the mini bye. They shrink down the playbook. You put in the plays your quarterback like. You play the receivers, all the skill. Listen, Alvin Kamara's touchdown on the Texas route. Well, that's the first time they ran that this year.
Yeah.
And he had to basically beg for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So what I liked was this week, it's like I said, they played more freely. Everyone was comfortable. They knew what they was doing. They knew how they wanted to attack this defense. And the one thing also that we need to notice, heavy, and I called it before the game. Even though I said I thought the Colts was gonna whoop the Saints' ass, I called it before the game. I said Taysom Hill is the X factor.
Yes.
I did that special on him way in off season. When Taysom Hill touches the ball 7 or more times, the Saints have like a 90%,
17-1.
17-1.
And the only loss came from when he was playing quarterback, and it was also several other injuries on top of everything else. So I completely agree. Yeah, dude, I'm really with you when it comes to all this. I to be honest, I've said this a bunch. I'm okay with what DA has been doing. Like he's fixed a lot of the mistakes as far as being a head coach, as far as being the voice of the Saints has been a lot better in my opinion. So I'm not willing.
I love the locker room speech after the game too.
Right. So like I'm here for DA getting another year. I think Pete Carmichael needs to either take a lesser role, walk out the door, something like that. Something needs to be refreshing to get into today's time of the NFL. But we'll see how all that plays out. But I'll tell you one team that was not ready to wait, and that is the Las Vegas Raiders, who went on a firing spree. Nan, let us know what happened with your team, man. What happened?
Nan, what's going on? Nan, talk to us, brother. How you feeling?
I feel great. At about 10 p.m. yesterday, 12 p.m. for Central and 1 o'clock in the morning for the East Coast, owner of the Las Vegas Raiders fired head coach Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler. And earlier today, he fired the offensive coordinator, Mick Lombardi. They appointed the linebacker coach, Antonio Pierce, as the new interim head coach, and the assistant GM, Champ Kelly, to the interim GM positions. And on the pretty much for the season or his 2 seasons with the Raiders, McDaniels was 9-16, but his record as a head coach is 20-32, which is a 38% win total. Let me see. But for the most part, we know everybody wanted to happen. It's been people been following Mark Davis around everywhere he goes. They followed him to the Aces parade. They followed him everywhere, just begging to fire that dude. And I think after the Thursday before this last game, there was a meeting where the players organized with the coach and who was it? It was Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, and Max Crosby led a player meeting to explain their frustrations to the coach. And for the most part, the way the coach made it sound like it was a great kumbaya moment.
Gotcha.
And so when the game happened, and it kind of happened the way it happened, because we saw the deficiencies with that team, because the defense, like Zach was saying earlier, the defense was look good. We got an easy pick 6. Kept the Lions kind of contained, to be honest with you. They didn't look as super big like they've been looking the previous weeks. Left 2 touchdowns on the field, a 40-yard bomb to Adams that was overthrown by 15 yards, and then and what would have been a 98-yard touchdown that was underthrown by 15 yards. And Adams, as you see on the sideline, was very upset and frustrated. And I mean, of course, you don't want to see them express themselves that way. But when it's been like this for 8 weeks, and you have a quarterback that, we'll say 7 weeks, because when they had the rookie in, nobody complained because the rookie slaying that ball. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it does suck that it has to go through the process of somebody firing, because yes, I'm not a fan of McDaniels. If McDaniels and Ziegler both have families, this does affect their families and how they progress going forward. But at the same time, McDaniels, like we talk about with Coach Da, we see Da is evolving and maturing in his position as a coach. Josh McDaniels is the same person that was a coach that was supposed to be a coach for the Denver Broncos. He's the same coach that applied for the Colts and walked away last minute to go back to the Patriots. What's going to happen now is he's probably going to sit out the rest of this season, and he's probably going to end up back with the Patriots next season as offensive coordinator.
I mean,
Josh McDaniels does not deserve a head coaching position. He doesn't know how to talk about his players.
Mm-hmm.
He if you ever listen to him, go back and listen to any of his speeches after the games. He puts the way he discusses things. He don't say things directly, but the way he says it, he's throwing everybody under the bus with himself. He never takes accountability, and that's the one thing that always bothered me about him. I don't care how many coaches we've had. They've all taken accountability, even if it wasn't their fault. They all taken accountability, but he never takes accountability, and that to me was showing that he never matured from his previous stint as a head coach. So
I saw the funniest article, which was McDaniels died in Denver because he wanted to make Tim Tebow the next superstar. So he lost his job there. And then he goes and signs his life away to an older, banged up, can't throw the ball over 20 yards, Jimmy Garoppolo, when you have Davante Adams on the damn team. It doesn't make sense. This was the best move they did. I wonder how they're feeling now, because I've seen some people that were like blaming Carr now coming back saying like, oh, maybe it wasn't Carr's fault. Now they're realizing that what the real issue was in Las Vegas, and that was the staff. And good for the owner to finally, even with his little hairdo that he's got, his little hairpiece thing, to finally step up and be like the former owner, his pops, and just lay down the hammer and just start firing. They should have allowed Brissette, the interim head coach, whenever Gruden got fired, Versace, to be that head coach. He had the locker room. He understood the players. They wanted to win for him. They went to the playoffs with him.
Yeah.
And then they go sign McDaniels and everything goes to trash.
I will say this, Antonio Pierce, I listened to his speech along with Champ Kelly, and when you hear him talk, man, like this almost like this is who they should have had in the first place, And for people who are Raiders fans, if you think about how John Madden came about, John Madden, who was a linebacker, who was a defensive player, just like Antonio Pierce, was never a coach. Came to the Raiders in a very similar situation after a coach from the Raiders that got fired mid-season, and did some great things with the Raiders. So a lot of people are comparing the situations between the two, and both have similar situations where they were always been fans of the Raiders. Pierce is from the LA area. He's from Compton. So he grew up in the 80s, in the era where the Raiders was the biggest thing in Los Angeles. So this is the reason why he even came to work with McDaniels is because it was with the Raiders. So it had nothing to do with McDaniels. It was because it was the Raiders. So for us, and hearing them talk and hearing like the passion, like when you compare his beginning intro speech to McDaniels, it's night and day. It's 100% night and day. McDaniels just sounded like it was a guy who got a job. And Antonio Pierce sounds like a man on a mission to prove not only to himself that he can do it, but prove to the rest of the NFL that Raiders are better than what the numbers are saying. So it was very, very convincing. Very convincing, very passionate, and I'm looking forward to it. The one last thing I'll say is that bothers me the most about this entire situation is, so when the Raiders beat the Patriots a couple weeks back, that was the 500th win for the Raiders. So because of the 500th win, that game ball and something from McDaniels actually goes into the Hall of Fame as a 500 win. So now he's permanently connected to the Raiders with our 500 win.
That sucks.
Put an asterisk on the ball.
Yeah.
basically.
Jesus.
I think it's his freaking visor goes into the Hall of Fame.
That's crazy.
With the football. Yeah.
So,
'Cause
Dolph,
of the
what do you think about that fire, man? Are you think it was the best move? Like, you know, do
I
you think the
think
Raiders can come
it
back
wa-
and do something now?
there was about to be a mutiny, man. If I'm on the outside looking in, you can see, man, players were frustrated. Like, nah, you got players meeting, you got they talking to the coach, but he really ain't listening to him, listening to
No.
them.
Yeah, no.
And I was listening to CBS Sports, and they were I forgot the gentleman's name, but he was like, the Raiders should have waited. Wait for what? When you see it's a sinking ship and it's not going anywhere. All right, they 3-5. Okay, should be better than 3-5. But this man is not getting the job done. And listen, Mark Davis done set through something like this with Dennis Allen.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he saw it.
But he loves Dennis Allen.
Yeah, but he not only got rid of the coach, though, he gets rid of his main man, he gets rid of the GM, and then later on the day, he gets rid of the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So this is not just a spur of the moment thing. This is something that's been in the works for a couple weeks. This man has been sitting and watching, and
you know what the coldest part is?
Together. Yeah,
the coldest part. He didn't tell nobody he was doing it. Nobody knew.
I like that. I like that, man. I love that.
He didn't tell nobody, and so I guess the Saints and somebody else were interested in getting Renfro. But so the rumor is when they were calling for Renfro, nobody was answering because there was nobody in the office to answer because they were all got sent home.
Wow.
So
that's crazy. Well, I'm definitely happy that the Raiders have moved on. I'm glad they made a big step. I mean, that's good for the whole fan base. I mean, you got to be excited to see take responsibility for what's going on, make a change, and then progress forward and do something big. I saw some people saying the Saints need to do the same thing. I'm glad they didn't. But if we would have lost the last two, then I mean maybe so.
To fire everybody. I do think the offense coordinator needs to go though. Because y'all last game. He finally didn't call a stale game. If he called a stale game, your offense is predictable. Everybody knows what's going to happen.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and take away from the NFL for a little bit and talk a little NBA, and then we'll get into our final questions with Dolph. NBA just tipped off not too long ago. It's been just a couple weeks. I think there's been about 4 to 5 games by each team. The biggest news coming in the NBA is of a person that I'm tired of talking about. I feel like there's always breaking news every time we try to do one of these podcasts. It's like we can't not talk about it.
And that's one of our main topics last week.
And that's James Harden to the Clippers. So I don't want to talk a lot, but Clippers currently are 3-1, and now they bring in James Harden, creating their big four with Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. So Westbrook and Harden reconnecting since their time at OKC. I mean, is it a good move? Like, I'm sick and tired of Harden. Like, I'm surprised teams are still willing to go grab him because I've already seen rumors that people are saying, like, oh, wait, just wait. He's going to try and join up with the Grizzlies next, or he's going to go try to join with this team next, or with this team next, the Suns, like all this stuff, because he just doesn't stay at home. Does this make him a contender, a championship contender, or more of one?
I mean, if you go by ESPN analytics, they'll say yes. But I think this makes them they look good from a distance, but I think it's a mirage. I mean, your starting 5 still has 4 basically point guards or 4 guards that all like to have the ball in their hand, and only one of them is really talented at really having the ball in his hand.
Yeah,
and it's like this offense is not going to work. It didn't work in when he was in OKC eventually. It didn't work when he was in Houston. Didn't work when he was in Brooklyn. Didn't work when he was in Philly. It's not going to work in Clippers. It's not going to work there. I don't know what they're expecting. Like they're just going to come together and all of a sudden become Form Voltron to be the baddest team in the land. It's not going to happen. You still got to beat other teams.
Yeah,
I think it'll look cute during the season, but when it gets to the postseason, it's going to be a problem.
It's a problem. What you think, Dolph?
Who's going to take the back seat? Everybody needs the ball. Paul George, Kawhi, Westbrook, and Harden. Who has Harden made better? What team has he gone to and made them better?
He's made the Rockets
Now,
better, but he just made himself better. That's all it was. It
no, he
wasn't about
made himself
anybody.
better. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I
He
mean,
made himself better.
he made Chris Paul look like a below average point guard whenever he joined him over in
did.
Houston.
He
It was
did
crazy.
that.
Paul went from a 10 to 12 assist average per game guy to 3 to 4 with the Rockets. He doesn't fit. He's a virus on teams, it feels like.
He's such a me first person. You can see it.
Nah.
You don't even have to know him to see that he's a me first person, man.
The reason he left OKC was he wanted to get his shine on.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You were there with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. Y'all got to the finals. You lost to LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh.
Yeah.
In their prime. Okay, y'all had years together that they could have won at least one championship, maybe two. But
Yeah, they could have, yeah.
He didn't want to play that role, so he left, wanted to be the man with the Houston, became a superstar, became famous. But what you got to show for? You got scoring titles and all that. But do you have a ring? How many finals have you been to other than that one? You ain't go to one with Houston. You ain't go to one with Philly. Man, listen, you got one in Philly. You had one of the best big men to play the game of basketball, in my opinion, because I think Joel Embiid really is underappreciated in the league for his skill set, being 7'2" and can do everything that he can do.
Yeah.
Put it on the floor, shoot threes in the post, mid range, whatever it is he can do. James Harden, man, he just does, to me, he just doesn't make you better.
If he doesn't get the rock and doesn't get to put up 15 shots to 20 shots a game, he's basically just a body on the floor because he don't play defense.
Who's coming off the bench? That's what I want to know.
That's the question. So we'll see how that plays out. I think it's going to make them worse. They'll still make playoffs, but we'll see what happens. Thank you for the new subscriber. The next topic, let's go ahead. Lakers early struggles. Lakers are currently 2-2 in the league. They're a team that was favored to go to the finals this year. But LeBron is currently under a somewhat minute limit restriction. They want him only playing between 28 and 32 minutes a game, which is putting a lot of weight on the shoulders of Anthony Davis, who seems to be a 50-50 player. Sometimes you get Mr. 36 points, 14 rebounds, 2 blocks, 4 assists, AD, that looks like should be an MVP caliber player, best in the league, to 15 points, maybe 6 rebounds, maybe a block if he's lucky, walks up and down the court, just sits at the perimeter because he doesn't feel like getting down low. Are the Lakers' struggles this early going to continue throughout the rest of the season, or can they find their adjustments and bounce back?
Well, I mean, some of the players that they have that come off their bench need to find their shots. The people they brought into the team this year in the offseason, they haven't really. I don't think they're comfortable yet, and that's going to take some time. So I would say, in all honesty, we don't know just yet. It looks like it's going to be a rocky road for at least the first 20 to 25, maybe 30 games, but that still gives enough time to you can still make a change and still become a playoff team, because the crunch time is really after that anyway. So they look rocky. Gabe finally started making his shots. That's a plus. Hachimura, he's kind of still in the same groove he was at the end of the playoffs. Austin, he is not comfortable right now. Him coming off the bench, I don't think that's what they need to do with him. He should be starting. I think he needs to get started earlier for him to actually be competitive to start the game.
They need to put him as a point guard. They need to get rid of D'Angelo Russell, have him at the point, and bring somebody else up to come play, and allow Reeves to get going early is definitely a need. What do you think? What do you think, Dolph, about the Lakers?
It's early. It's not even. I really don't pay attention to the NBA to January, man.
I'm kind of there with you too.
Yeah, because it's so early in the season, man. You got teams are going to jail. Listen, we know in the end the Lakers go be there, bro. They too talented, and matter of fact, I didn't realize the Lakers and the Clippers were playing tonight. I didn't know they were playing tonight. Yeah, and the Clippers. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was just gonna say it is early, so it's definitely gonna have to see a lot of things and how it's gonna adjust throughout the season. The one biggest thing that they're gonna get fixed that's gonna make them a whole lot better is how they rotate players in and out. You know, they've had a lot of new additions this offseason, including Gabe Vincent, as well as Christian Wood, who I think is going to end up being a great addition to them. So once they figure those rotations out, I think it's going to work out fine. I just need to see AD at least be 75-25. You know, I can't have 50-50 AD. I need at least 75-25.
Man, I remember we were talking about Anthony Davis possibly being the best player on the planet.
Yeah.
You know, and
he still probably is. He still probably is
on the good day. On the days he's feeling good. But man, the addition of Christian Woods, man, I could see a lineup with Christian Woods, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James with Reeves and Russell.
Just
man,
bullying.
Just bullying, man. Because man, that was a real good signing with Christian Woods, man. I'm sorry it didn't work out in Dallas for him and Kidd just couldn't get along.
That's
Mr. Body's effort.
I don't think Kidd is a good coach, to be honest.
So, yeah. Well,
so we'll go ahead and skim through these next two real fast, and we'll get into our last questions with Dolph. So another big person that's in the spotlight is no other than Wembanyama, who's been doing his thing with San Antonio Spurs. First game came off to a rocky start, had 5 fouls early, was able to come back in and make some decent plays in their loss against Dallas. But since then, he's averaged 16.3 points, 2.3 blocks, 7.5 rebounds. And Coach Popovich is still trying to figure out where to work a player like this. And he has the best coach around him to figure out where he fits and what type of scheme he should be brought in. As of right now, they're running him more in a perimeter set. They have him outside and then cutting in and doing things like that. As he gets stronger and gets more accumulated ages with the NBA, he's still very, very young. People seem to forget that, even though he's a freak of nature, he's very young. He will get bigger, will get stronger, and once he does that and he can learn some post moves and get underneath, he's going to be dangerous. So he's been really fun to watch. Another team that is in the spotlight is the Milwaukee Bucks, who are 2-1 right now. Giannis has came out to say that this is Dame's team. He started off the season with a crazy game. I believe he dropped 38 points, which was a record for the Milwaukee Bucks in a debut game. Yeah, I know. Nah, that's what Giannis says. He said he wants this to be Dame's team. So I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like Dame just needs to be a stop and pop shooter and just call it what it is. I mean, have your moments to shine, but Giannis needs to. I know he's a humble person, but be a little cocky, brother. Go and dominate. You are the Greek freak, bro. Like, you're insane.
His words say that, but his play says something else. That's Giannis' team, man.
Very true.
It's their team.
It's their team.
Like that.
I agree.
It's their team.
Their one
Chris Middleton.
That's interesting.
Their one loss was a very bad one. They got caught doing too much ISO, which is the thing we figured was going to be the biggest problem with their team set right now. Still trying to figure out how to work that ball around between their three stars. And then the lack of defense, which is another thing we expected to be a problem with this team, since Dame doesn't play good defense when compared to like your Drew Holiday and the other guy that they lost, who I'm forgetting his name right now. And then last sports topic is just going to be a shout out to Lionel Messi. I love this picture here. Lionel Messi won his 8th Ballon d'Or, which is the record for most Ballon d'Or wins. He has 8. The only person behind him is Ronaldo with 5. He also won 4 straight back in 2009 to 2012, which is a record. For those of y'all that don't watch soccer or don't know what Ballon d'Or is, it is an award given by the French for the best men and woman soccer player in the world. So it's not secluded to one league or anything like that. It is the best in the world. I love this picture where he has all the rings on, matching old boy, the late great. So going from that, man, let's go ahead and ask our final questions to Dolph 17. So Dolph, let's talk about your other channel, the As the NFL Turns. You recently started this up where it covers, all NFL teams on Sundays, giving you breakdown, predictions, who's the rushing leaders, passing leaders, and all that good stuff. What made you decide on starting this channel up?
Just wanted to expand, man. I love my Saints, man, but I love the NFL, and just wanted to expand, man. And my motivation, man, is, man, I love the NFL today, back in the day, man. Brent Musburger is one of my favorite sportscasters of all time, man.
Yeah, Brent's fire.
Yeah, and I like the way that as a matter of fact, I even been watching old videos of him, man. The way he delivered it was just smooth, bro. It was he was just cool. Like I remember the NFL today coming on, and the first thing he'll say, "You are looking live." You know what I'm saying? It's something simple like, but it was the way that he said it, man. You know what I'm saying? He had that persona about him. But I wanted to do a pregame show, man. My own pregame show, my own way, because it's just something I had in my head. Like, you know what, man? Why not do a pregame show?
I like it.
That way I can get more
informed,
man. Hey, man, y'all make the show, brother. Without y'all, there's no show, man.
I don't know about all that, but
y'all,
appreciate
y'all
that.
Listen, man. You, Nine, Carlos, Coach, man. Without y'all, man, there's no show, bro. And plus I wanted to mix, man. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted the people that I can mix with it's the right mix, bro. It just feels right, man. Because after the first show, man, and my wife watched it with me, man, and she was like, "Babe, y'all got chemistry. Like, you got the right people, man." And it's like everybody has their strong part. You know what I'm saying? And so I basically, man, I could just sit back, bro, and I just watch y'all go. You know what I'm saying?
It's fun. It's so awesome to find that balance. Like me and Non have talked. We talked about this with Carlos actually in the last podcast we did, where we had Carlos Caden from the Uneducated Sports Talk join us, and it's just when you have that chemistry, it just flows. Like there's no need for preparation. Like you just come in, talk, chat. Like we're all friends. We're all friends through the internet. Never met in person, but you would think that we've known each other for years. The way we've been able to connect through these times. So it's definitely been fun. Next question is. One thing, like you said, football has been important to you. What about football makes you so passionate about it, man? Like, how did that passion for football start for you?
Man, growing up playing throw up tackle, seeing players, guys from my neighborhood play football. I had cousins play. I grew up right down the street from Hall of Famer Negus Williams. We called him Nikki. So, Ashley Ambrose, he's from the Holly Grove area, and just a lot of, just playing football, man. We used to play football in the street. Matter of fact, man, I've been in my neighborhood for 3, maybe 4 years, bro. I haven't seen one street football game, man.
Dude, you don't ever see it anymore. And I'm with you.
Man,
I grew up street football every day. We knew. You got off school at 3:00. You go home, get your homework done as quick as possible. 4:00, you play till street lights come on. And if you're lucky, your dads will be out there playing, and you play till 10:00 at night. Everybody play. Like that's how it was. How you connect this? How you met friends back then?
Don't let it be the weekend. Yeah,
don't let it be the weekend.
Everybody's
tournaments.
Outside, a whole lot of people out there. Oh man, you getting roasted and stuff. Oh man,
the best part about it too was it wasn't secluded to age group either. It'd be I remember being 7 years old playing with 15-year-olds, 18-year-olds. Like people weren't too cool to go play football with the kids around the street. Like everybody just game and played, man. We'd have kids in high school all the way to grade school, all just playing and sort out the teams that way. Parents come in, it'd be a blast.
Well, that's when you create something in social media, that's what happens.
Yeah.
And then our final question before our fun one. This is one thing we like to do is go digging and try to find something interesting about people we have on our show. So we ventured off a little bit on your IG, and we found this picture here of a young Dolph. Looks like you were in a band here, huh? Is this of you? Because we
the band, man.
The band. Okay, come on, man. Tell us a little bit about it,
man. Listen, if if you from New Orleans, man, you know what I'm saying? You grew up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, early 2000s. You already know I'm a Tarpon for life. LC Fauché Tarpon, baddest band in the land. I don't care if you went to St. Aug. I don't care if shout out to Kyle T. Mosley, brother. A lot of people don't know, brother Kyle was a drum major at McDonald 35. I ain't gonna hold that against him though. He's real cool. But man, that man in New Orleans, that bro, being part of the band was almost just man, it was just as cool as being on the football team.
You
It
ain't
was
wrong.
like you were a superstar.
Especially
You
if you're
understand what
part
I'm
of them big
saying?
schools, man.
Right,
It's more highlighted than
right,
the football team sometimes.
right. And people used to come to the games, man, just to see us, bro. You know, now they came for the football team too when we had good teams and we had a lot of good talent come. But man, it was nothing like it's a way of life in New Orleans. It's the culture.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
one of my closest friends, he's from New Orleans. He
Yeah,
was a drum major. He was a drum
yeah,
major.
yeah. Band, man, band is for the like I say, man. You put that uniform on, bro. You go on the bus stop, and everybody. Oh, y'all in the parade tonight? What parade y'all in? You know,
Yep.
you feel that, especially when you know you in the band I was in. Man, shout out R.I.P. to Mr. Elijah Brimmer, man, our band instructor. This man, bro, he was the father figure. He was the father to us, to a lot of us, bro, who didn't have fathers in our life.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one to have that talk with you. He was the one to give you that tough love, man. He
Yeah.
was the one to conjure you up. And when you to see a grown man come to tears talking to his students, but as he came to call us his sons, you know, his extended family, his sons, man, and to see him pour his heart into us, man, and it meant so much, man. You didn't want to disappoint him, man. You
Hmm.
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And like I said, man, it felt good, man. And look, we was good, bro. You know, we
Yeah.
won all kind of awards and everything, man. You know, we Tarpons for life. Elf Troop stand up, baby. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, yeah,
Yeah.
man,
It's
yeah,
def
bro. That brings back memories right there, man.
I'll tell you what, it's definitely special when you have that person in your life that's, like you said, extended family. They ain't got to be there, but they there for you regardless,
Right.
man. It's those special people, and I challenge everyone that listens to this podcast or joins in the stream, try to be that for somebody else. You don't know what it means just to see how people are doing, and check on them, make sure they're doing the right things. They might hate you for a little bit of it in certain moments because you're being hard on them, but I promise you, they're gonna love you for it at the end, man. It's definitely great. What instrument did you play, Dolph?
Trumpet, baby. Trumpet section, baby.
There it is.
You
Okay.
already know. All the band, baby.
Do you still play?
Nah, man, it been
No.
years, man. Shout out to the
Man,
cause see,
we
coach
getting
ain't gonna
trumpets
like
next
this.
time out here,
Pam
bro.
and Wayman ain't gonna like this. Um see, Coach and Pam and Wayman, they ain't gonna like this. And T Dirty, they ain't gonna like this. But shout out, baby, Jaguar Land,
Uh
baddest band in the land.
oh. Yo, Southern
Southern, that's
baby.
you, baby. You just
Yeah.
is that S on the
Oh man,
chest, you know. You know
the old quarterback, Brian Lee. They used to play quarterback for him. Probably about, I don't know, 15 years ago, maybe 10 years ago.
Bro,
Uh, Brian Lee
Brian
played.
Lee for
Brian
Southern.
Lee for Southern. Yeah, Brian Lee. He I can't remember what he won.
I don't.
Okay. He was my coworker. He was out there for a while. He played a couple years there. Tried out for the Giants. I think he played
Okay.
CFL for a little bit, and then he coached at some
Okay.
small school in Missouri for a bit. But yeah,
Gotcha.
he
Gotcha.
always be repping the Jags, man, when he's in town. All right, man.
Oh yeah, got to, man.
We got one last funny one for you. Take it away.
Uh-oh.
All right. So, like you said, last question. Now, you know, just listen to what I'm saying because we did it, Carlos, and I think Carlos he misheard us when I spoke it. So I'm gonna say it a little slower this time. It says if you could take one animal as a battle companion, what would it be and why?
One animal as a battle companion.
Mm-hmm. So you're going into
You
a battle,
you
you're going to
going to battle.
war,
Mhm.
and you need a companion. It has to be an animal. What animal would you take, and why?
A Wolverine.
I could dig it.
I like
Wolverine
that.
would put into work. Wolverine would definitely put into work.
Wolverine. Vicious.
Yep.
Vicious.
Man.
Non-stop.
There
Attack.
it is.
A Wolverine. There you
I
go.
love it.
Give me
I
a
love it,
Wolverine.
man. Well, look, Dolph, man, much love to you, brother. I really appreciate you for joining us today. Everyone that has stuck around
Man,
and
I
listened,
appreciate y'all,
make sure
brother.
y'all go and check out the description. Make sure y'all click the link for Dolph 17's channels, both the Keeping It Real, Who Dat Sports podcast, as well as the As the NFL Turns podcast. Man, live several times all throughout the week. Make sure y'all come check it out. Come say what's up. Come talk band with Dolph. I know he'll like that. Tell him he needs to buy a trumpet and start playing some intro tunes before every stream.
It's so funny because if you look at Dolph and I saw your picture of my homeboy, you'll think they look identical. He don't have a beard. His beard is not gray like yours. I'm gonna send you a picture of him.
All right, do that.
And y'all, he from Louisiana too.
Hey, and if I remember right, your logo for the Keeping It Real, it had trumpets in it at one time, didn't it?
Yes,
it
yeah,
did
it
that,
had
and
the
that's
first
why.
original logo. It had that trumpet. Yeah.
Oh, that's that,
Yeah.
dude. It's so funny how you connect the dots like that. But yeah, man, appreciate you once again. Thank you everybody that's joined in. We'll catch y'all.
Thank y'all, bro.
We'll catch y'all live on this channel every Monday and Thursday for primetime football, every other Wednesday for our podcast. And then we'll catch you on Sunday with Dolph on the As the NFL Turns podcast. So make sure y'all go and check all these channels out. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button on the video, on the podcast. And we will catch y'all next time. Nine, you got any closing words?
Appreciate you. Love you. Hit that subscribe button. We out, y'all.
We out.